I've always wanted to have my own label, my own company, and then get investors. I really started thinking about it after Thanksgiving, which was such a satisfying experience. But again, you're still dealing with other companies. And I thought, you know, what if, like, I'm looking at the next 25 years. Like, I thought, looked at what I've created from scratch. Like, I try to think if it didn't exist before I thought of it or before I made the effort to do it. And that's Cabin Fever, Hostel, Green Inferno, Thanksgiving. Like, if I hadn't done those, they wouldn't ever exist. And that's the kind of stuff I want to do. I have 50 of those ideas. But Terrifier 3, which I think was the biggest story in independent film next to Anora, what Damon Leone did is remarkable. And it was amazing to watch the industry just so resoundingly dismiss it like it never happened, because I think people thought it made them look bad, or they don't understand it, or it scared them. You have an unrated movie that opens at $20 million and makes 90 million globally at the box office. It's insane. A movie made for $2 million. So, but it showed me that I was like, oh, we're here. We're at the point where unrated is a wide release. And it took Damien and Phil and Iconic and Bloody Disgusting and a number of people, Cineverse, to come in and do that and put it out there. And I understand that Terrifier started in 2009, you know, the Ninth Circle, and then it was in 2011 and All Hallows Eve, and then Terrifier 1. Art the Clown has been around since 2009. So, you know, people, it took years for it to catch on, but Damien knows how to deliver the goods. The movies get better and better. They're amazing. So he knows what his audience wants. So that to me was like, now I can go make those movies. Like, I'm going to announce one very soon that I'm going to shoot this summer. There are movies that I want to make that for years, I've had a script for 20 years that someone's told me, you can never do this. It's too sick. And I thought, you know, after Green Inferno and Knock Knock, I can't like spend a year making a movie that just gets like a non-release. I need to do stuff that can get out there wide. And then I thought, well, let me talk to Iconic and make a deal with them. And then this Republic thing came up where like, what if the public could buy it? You know, what if you offered 10% of your company? I have the funding from MCT Capital, but what if we offer 10% to the public and let them buy in? Now we have over 1,500 people that have signed up to be part of it. So if filmmakers wanted to spend $100 and have shares and then the movie's a hit, then they can get paid on that. That to me was the innovation of like, but you're not using that for all of your funding. It's just a small percentage of it so that everybody can benefit. You know, you're basically bringing the public in as a minority partner in your company, so they have a rooting interest, and it's more fun for them. So it's like you're not getting sales from the iPhone, but it's Apple stock goes up, you're going to make money.
No, it's a new way also to conceive the audience, because it's like a community. It's a community-driven company that can be also your first.
I mean, by the way, look at the controversy. Isn't it crazy that it's actually controversial that Ryan Coogler is like, I should own my own IP? Like, in what world is that crazy? I mean, I sit there and I'm like, who owns Cabin Fever? I'm like, it's these people in Lionsgate. Who owns Hostel? It's me and this and Sony. Who owns this? It's like 30 people. But if you're an author, you own it 100%. If you're a playwright, you own it 100%. And if you're a filmmaker, it's just assumed you're a work for hire. And like now that we don't, and it used to be okay when you got $20 million paychecks, or you could sell millions of dollars in DVDs, but that's gone now. That goes to the street. When you make Clown, you make nothing. When you make the people on Suits, they're not getting DVD sales. They got nothing. So we're in the situation now where we as the creators need to take back our intellectual property. So how do we do that? How do you do it where you own it? I'm doing a company now where I'm going to own everything 100%, but now I'm going to let the public own a piece of it too. So we're not dependent on one movie. If one, you know, because look at Terrifier. I mean, you created that character in 2009, 2025 is when it's worth a fortune. So what if 15 years from now, these characters become valuable? You don't know what characters are going to pop. So let's create Marvel for Monsters. Let's build our own IP library and everybody owns a piece of it. But also, if this works, and you can establish a valuation. Like we said, the company's worth $55 million, $3 a share. People are buying into it. Now that's what the company's value is. Now we have a stock price. If the movie hits and the stock goes up, everyone's going to win. That's a new way to make money. That's how creators, but I think when they're like, Ryan gets it back after 25 years, and yeah, he's 38 years old. It'll be incredibly valuable, but he wants his kids to own that IP, just as I want my kids to own my IP. My daughter's 3 months old. I'm already thinking about like, okay, I want her to own the IP. So what's crazy is that the studios are like, we're going to fuck you. We're going to take your money, and you're lucky because we're giving you a break. And they used to have that monopoly, but they're not the gatekeepers anymore because now with Iconic, there's other ways to release the movie. So Iconic, we just put it out, and that's it. Like, I believe that the creators, it's almost like you have to write a short story and publish it yourself to be like, look, it's underlying pre-existing IP, so that you own it, so that you then lease it to them. But it is wild that everyone's like, look how crazy this is. I mean, what Ryan Coogler did, like, this guy's proved it over and over and over and over. And it's still like, what? He wants to own his own idea? How dare he? But we are giving him this chance. And it's like, I understand it. Like, we're all partners. They're putting up a lot of money. They gave him $100 million. And yes, it paid off. He proved it. But it is crazy that people are like, wow, how dare he own his own IP? What's wrong with him? Like, don't you get that idea? Because they're terrified of us owning our ideas. But that's what we have. It's almost like we all have to become novelists, write a novel to put it out there just to be like, yeah, we own it. So my goal was like, I'm done. I've made a lot of money for a lot of people, and I've proved that I'm an idea generator, but my ideas are my gold. As long as I have my brain, I'm going to be fine. So why don't just create your own IP and own your IP, or like you guys lease it? Because I think that the days of them going, we own everything and fuck you, are over. I think we're losing that because there's no payoff now. Have you seen all these stories? Like, why is Brady Corbet going like, I'm broke? Like, are you out of your mind? Like, they want to keep us broke. And that's what I realized. I was like, the studios want directing to become some sort of middle-class profession where you never can hit the highs of the 90s and the early aughts, so that they keep you working all the time. I mean, I had an experience with something where, like, I turned in a draft and a draft and a draft, and always like, I don't care. Like, I want to get it done. I want it to be good. And then they're like, well, we got to wait for this to pay you the last $5,000 we owe you. I was like, guys, are we really in this world? Like, what? I'm just going to raise my own money. I'm going to release my own movies. And you know what I'm doing with Joe, with Jimmy and Stiggs? I'm like, how about this? We release it. It's a hit, and we share. How about that? Like, you can get rich. If everyone sees it, it's great. If nobody sees it, okay, we tried. If this movie works, Joe, who's been living in the apartment he shot the movie in, could do really well. I was like, we need to be incentivized to like make money if a movie's a hit. It shouldn't just be like, well, it all went to marketing. You'll see the money in 5 years. So I think that the system itself is broken, and it used to be okay because we had the DVD money. Then it was okay because we had cable TV money. It's all gone, guys. Streamer gets one thing and that's it. And they're like, okay, you know what your reward is? You get to keep working. How's that work? I feel bad for the young filmmakers. I mean, I have an established thing, but it's like, if you're a filmmaker starting out, you're better off making your own movie, making it independently, owning it, and then just making sure that they give you a cut of the gross when it comes out. Or saying, you know what, I made my money, let me just put it out there, and then whatever happens, happens. It's crazy, though, how they want to squeeze directors and writers and creators. I mean, look at producers. They pay them nothing. And then you have to fight for back end. It's basically like, okay, sue us. But I think those days are going to come to an end. I don't think they can stay in business that way.
Wow, it's one of the reasons I created WeShort is exactly this, because I also wanted to increase the awareness of young filmmakers about their IP, because most of the time I see all they care about is making the short film, but the IP part is not really curated. So we want to increase their awareness also, because with the distribution of short movies in a structured way, the IP value can grow. And then that IP can be something in 25 years.
That's
like
exactly
Eli
it.
said.
My whole point when you're investing in the horror section is you're buying the IP. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Look at Leatherface. There's a bidding war. It's a 50-year-old movie. They didn't think that was going to be anything. Freddy, Chucky, Jason, now Art the Clown, Hostel, Cabin Fever, Green Inferno. IP. When you think of your idea as intellectual property, these are my characters, this is my world. That's the mindset you need. And you can put it on WeShort, you can publish a short story, you can self-publish and go, this is it. This is based on this property. I am the owner of it. And that's it. And when the studios go, we'll give you money for your movie, you go, yeah, but you're not getting the underlying rights. I own the characters. And that's it. That's just the deal. But you got to get a competitive situation, because they might go, well, we're going to invest 10 million. We want to own it. And that's fair. That's not crazy. So it's not like
That's
someone else
win-win.
owning it. Someone's giving you $10 million to make a movie. All right. You're benefiting in other ways. This will help me launch other things. So but your IP become your bargaining chips. Once you have a few IP things, then you can start to leverage it. I think we're going to take questions, right?
That's the quintessence of the independent filmmaking, what we have been saying today. So Hale, probably we have some questions from the audience.
Yes, we have a ton of questions. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Alex. We'll try to get to as many as we can. I see a question
Ultra quick.
from Josh in the chat. What are the biggest mistakes you see first-time feature filmmakers make?
I mean, it's a very good one. I mean, mistakes. Look, no, everything's a mistake when it doesn't work. I think that, first-time filmmakers, if you're doing it yourself and funding it yourself, you're going to have the creative control. But if someone is hiring you to do a job, what they're looking for is how collaborative are you? It's this fine line of you sort of have to Jedi mind trick people into getting to do what you want, because what people are looking for is how collaborative are you? Do actors like working with you? Can you run a set? Are you organized? Did you plan your shots? Are you good at improvising? When everything goes, it's not direct. It's easy to do it when how do you do it when your actors don't show up or people have different, like, how do you get everyone, and keep everything moving? It's like my skills of being a camp counselor with 35 10-year-old boys, getting them changed for swimming and archery and arts. Those are the skills that you kind of need as a director. Weirdly, it's just hurting everyone. But then if the movie doesn't work, how are you? And if you go crazy, then everyone's like, well, I don't want to work with that person, because what if this one doesn't work out? Are they going to trash me? Nobody wants to look bad, and nobody wants someone out there running around talking about, because you're going to have conflicts with people. So how much of a professional can you be? How much can you not take things personally? So for me, when you're a director, be organized, be collaborative, don't back down off your opinion, but find ways to get people on the same page as you without screaming. You can't scream. Those days, like, you can, but you're going to lose everyone. So just that's it. How are you under pressure? And then if things don't work out, how are you able to kind of frame it when other people ask you later? Because sometimes they'll be like, hey, how was it working with that guy? What they're really asking you is, are you going to talk shit about me after we work together?
Thank you. This is an interesting one from Crystal. Could you walk us through a moment where you felt you over-directed or overwrote a scene and what you learned from fixing it?
And that always happens. I mean, we had like, sometimes I find myself like with Jordan Ladd on my first film with Cabin Fever. She was there and I had to get her to cry. And I was like, Jordan, you're really sad. And she goes, can you just get your dad? My dad's a psychiatrist and he was visiting on set. So he came over and he's like, tell me about your mother. And Jordan's talking about it. She just started crying. Like, sometimes I was like, the actors, you should be able to get them there. The actors, you can get them there. You're hiring people in the casting so that they can do it. But when you sometimes they just like, it's like a little bit of leave me alone. And then other times, generally you want to hit them from the side. Like, instead of talking about the scene, I go, remember that story you told me about that person who stole your identity? And they go, yeah, and how mad you got? I go, yeah. I go, this person just stole your identity. And it unlocked the scene and she went crazy. So often the direction comes not from saying your character's here, your character's there, but you've hung out, you've gone to dinner, you understand it, and you know some things about that person. And in a kind of a smart way, also don't yell across the room, people, unless you're like, you physically can't help it. Generally, actors like it when you go up to them and talk to them. So that's when and then oftentimes, like, there's a lot, the overwriting, then I realized, like, sometimes you'll feel it, it's not working. You're like, why would I say all this shit? I would just go that. And you go, yeah, okay. Like that's happened to me too. They're like, I wrote a great speech, I wrote a great thing, but if the person would just go, nah, and they would just say that and then leave, if it works, it works. Sometimes you shoot it and you have to sort of realize halfway through, you're like, we're just talking too much. He's like, I wouldn't say that. But that's casting smart actors and having that space to rehearse with them.
Thank you, Eli. Another question related to horror. What themes in horror movies do you see audiences gravitating toward today?
Generally, horror, it's like comedy in that it reflects something that's going on in society. It's not necessarily going to be scary 2 years later, because it's sort of, horror is kind of tapping into some kind of social fear, and you can't always see it at the time. Like, I talked about this on my show, History of Horror, how the zombie craze really coincided with it's almost like an effect of the market crash of 2008 and the prices going up and people being displaced and the homeless explosion in the teens. That to me, then it coincides with the zombie movies and The Walking Dead and certain things that are like something in society that we're feeling the world ending. So I think that audiences will gravitate to authenticity no matter what. When you know, whatever it is, you couldn't say, do people want to see a movie about vampires? You could say, yes, there's Nosferatu, but someone might have also said, well, look at, you know, the Demeter, Last Voyage of the Demeter. That was similar time periods. People don't want vampire. No, no, no. It's the personal approach that Robert Egger has. It's Ryan Coogler and, you know, Michael B. Jordan's personal approach to Sinners and what they're saying about culture and music and religion. That's what people are responding to. It's someone with an opinion that stuck to their guns and did something that was authentic, that they believe in. That I think is generally what audiences respond to, because the fear will change depending on what's going on in culture.